My name is Skylar Kitchen, and I'll be talking to you today about the master planning process currently underway in the small town of Crozet, located just outside of Charlottesville, Virginia. Today we will start out with an introduction of Crozet, and I will provide a brief background on the issues currently facing the community and how I believe that we will best move forward in the process. I have a couple solution approaches that we will cover, including an IT aggregation solution and the development of a project plan. Executing these approaches will be challenging, but are a necessity to fully realize the potential of Crozet's key resources and development planning activities. Finally, we will review the value proposition of these solutions, sustainability, and some final thoughts on the master planning process. My wicked problem is to improve the master planning process for my community of Crozet, Virginia. Master planning is defined as the blueprints for the future, plans that identify economic, land use, and infrastructure development and/or redevelopment, which may include transportation, housing, and public facilities. Some institutions revisit their master plan every 5 years to ensure that they are staying up to date with a rapidly changing world. The current master planning process in my community has been going on for over a decade now, but they have seen much progress in recent years. Some people see the master plan as a hard and unwavering rule, while others are more flexible in their opinions. The wickedness resides in the fact that no one can be certain that their plan or opinion is the most enviable solution to the community, but the fact remains that a solution must be reached, otherwise it will be a revolving door of indecisiveness plaguing the process. Crozet's population is growing quickly, from about 5,500 residents in 2010 to over 8,000 residents now, with an expected population of just over 20,000 by 2030. The Crozet Master Plan and the redevelopment of downtown Crozet are in dire need of updating to accommodate the increased residential and commercial requirements. The master plan needs to adapt to ensure that infrastructure is appropriately improved and that current parcel zonings are flexible. In order to effectively tackle this wicked problem as a whole, I need to solve the pre-development issues surrounding the flow of information among stakeholders and institute a realistic plan for progress towards breaking ground on construction. Solving these two issues will kickstart a long-delayed process by aligning interest among the stakeholders and by empowering each group with the same decision-informing information. I believe that this is incredibly important in this type of public-private partnership, especially for a project of this scale and with only one opportunity to find the most appropriate solution. I believe I am creating a realistic project plan with deliverables and hard deadlines is one of the most important steps in getting this project started in the right direction. Public-private partnerships can be finicky in nature, given the typical competing interests of the stakeholders. That said, since there have been years of back-and-forth dialogue to this point, I believe that this gap will present far less of a problem in receiving acceptance of timelines and milestones from all stakeholders. As mentioned earlier, the master planning process has been taking place for over a decade. This has been a good problem in the sense that it's an issue that is constantly at the forefront of residents' minds. There are a number of stakeholders in this wicked problem, including the residents of Crozet, residents of the surrounding area, Albemarle County government, developers, and the future residents of Crozet. Current residents of Crozet want the master plan to maintain the current small-town feel and fear that the growth will have an adverse effect on the reasons they moved here in the first place. Residents of the surrounding area are less directly impacted by the growth, but will gain the convenience of easier access to amenities that come along with the growth. Both residents within and outside the growth area have concerns over the ability for current infrastructure, including roads, water, public schools, etc., to support the nearly 15,000 more users in the future. Albemarle County, in which Crozet is located, designated Crozet as a growth area due to its current popularity, rural land appropriate for growth, and potentially significant increase in the property tax income. The growth has put a strain on county resources and budget due to the increase in need for public facilities and administrative support that has already resulted in the master plan revision process to be delayed by nearly 5 years. The key factors affecting this wicked problem are the high number of stakeholders, the decentralization of information, the role of local regulations, and the financial incentives for the developer. I believe that many of the issues that have plagued this process from inception to date have been related to the lack of effective and united leadership. Drawing on knowledge gained from previous courses, it is extremely difficult to align the interests of private and public sectors, especially when the local government has a significant oversight on the process, along with their own best interests in mind. Additionally, by drawing upon project management and service process concepts from the operations course, I can address the issues surrounding the lack of direction and the clear measures of progress. The design process of the master plan in downtown Crozet is being performed by many different stakeholders. The public, residents, and Albemarle County design boards all have their own meetings, goals, and technology, leading to a very decentralized environment. This wicked problem is unique because no one stakeholder has a say over the other when it comes to their IT infrastructure. This has led to some difficulty in aligning everyone's best interests. Recently, the Downtown Crozet initiative has formed to serve the community's and county's efforts towards this development, but I am not so sure the solution here is to keep adding more and more community interest groups to the equation. The results of these various meetings are often not communicated to the other stakeholders in a timely or complete fashion. This has led to a number of setbacks and lots of confusions among everyone. Given Albemarle County's much higher level of IT resources, capabilities, and expertise, it would be advisable for the county to lead it in charge in improving these communications. I believe it is important for each of the stakeholders to maintain their independence, but for proper communication flow, I believe it is everyone's best interest to aggregate all information on one central website that is updated in real time by drawing upon each entity's separate websites. Oversight of the website will be imperative to maintaining an impartial feel and remove as much bias as possible. The public needs to know that they can trust the information available to them and that they are forming opinions based on facts and the most timely information. Since there are a number of pre-existing various stakeholder groups, I believe that it would be most appropriate to designate a member from each group to the Oversight Committee to aid in this mission. As trust grows in the website, I believe it will prove to be an invaluable resource for future development phases. There's been a considerable amount of time already invested in this process, and I believe formalizing the process will aid in moving progress in the right direction. I propose that from the current position to completion of Phase 1 construction should take 3 years. Additional meetings and approvals will need to be completed before construction can be started. The first 6 months of this timeline will be dedicated to this process, much of which will be aimed at having all stakeholders in agreement on a final design, and that design approved by the appropriate governing bodies. The remaining 2.5 years will be focused on the physical construction of downtown Crozet. The first 7 months of the construction phase will be focused on infrastructure improvements, things like utilities, roads, etc., throughout the property, while the remaining time will be construction of the mixed-use buildings. In addition to any timeline efficiencies, the agreed-upon milestones will drive the financial incentives for the developer. For Phase 1, I would propose the following milestones: stakeholder design approval, groundbreaking, completion of infrastructure improvements, completion of Phase 1 mixed development, and the occupancy certification. The first milestone will signal the completion of the design approval process and the impending start of construction. The following milestones will be related to the actual construction where I expect the most delays to occur. These milestones will help stakeholders follow the progress of the project and track the financial implications of the project. I believe that these milestones are also broad enough to please the developer while also signaling significant progress to the public. This project management plan is currently proposed will undergo much negotiation to determine the exact dates and incentives for staying on schedule. The appropriately named developer milestone partners will have much to say when it comes to the logistics of completing the infrastructure improvements and first phase of construction. While milestone partners will be the expert in this wicked problem, Albemarle County has a long history of partnering with third-party developers and ensuring that the public is appropriately served, especially when potential tax revenue is at stake. I believe that my proposed 3-year timeline may be a bit ambitious, but would be an excellent starting point for timeline and milestone negotiations with the developer. An additional issue that will need to be addressed is the viability of allowing the current commercial tenants of the original site, called the Square, to remain fully operational, and how the developer will address any potential disruptions in utility services, parking constraints, or even public access to the buildings. As mentioned earlier, this is not Albemarle County's first rodeo and has worked with existing businesses for their own infrastructure improvement projects and can provide milestone partners with a good starting point for addressing these concerns. Also, Albemarle County will be able to draw upon past experiences with their data on the effect of construction on local businesses and how to best ensure that these businesses can remain afloat during this difficult time. The key resources for downtown Crozet's value proposition are the land, ready and willing business owners, and civic engagement space. I believe the key resource in developing the needed customer relationships is not something that can be bought, but rather involving the community in the decision-making processes and providing regular updates on progress and potential changes integral to the original design. Milestone partners will be responsible for much of the capital resources required to launch the design and construction of downtown Crozet. Albemarle County can lessen that burden through tax incentives and applying for matching grants for infrastructure improvements through various government-funded entities such as the VDOT. The key activities for this wicked problem are the joint design processes among the key partners, the efficient construction of downtown, and the resulting attraction and marketing of relevant retail and service businesses. The basis for the success of these key activities is the relationship that milestone partners can build with Crozet's current community and their ability to negotiate design elements in good faith. An existing customer base already exists in Crozet and surrounding area. The milestone partners will benefit the most from civic engagement with the community and providing the public with a community gathering space that can host events that allow Crozet to maintain a small town feel and sense of community. Downtown Crozet needs to be the heart of Crozet and exude a community-first feel to successfully foster the relationship with customers. Downtown Crozet intends to deliver added convenience and an increased sense of community to the customer. This will help solve Crozet's perception as a better community for Charlottesville and encourage the growth and relocation of employers to Crozet. Downtown Crozet can provide a wide variety of conveniences, including retail, entertainment, food and beverage, employment, and residential opportunities. I believe that this bundle of products and services will provide Crozet with a unique identity that will separate itself from Charlottesville. Crozet is additionally set at the base of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and the community here values the outdoors and sustainability. The Albemarle County Design Board is also very cognitive of the Blue Ridge Mountain viewshed and the impact of new developments. The final design of downtown Crozet will need to consider the importance of these natural features and how to best preserve the beauty of the area and to mitigate the impact of construction. Additional green features such as solar power or geothermal heating and cooling would be a welcome addition to the design plans, as well as provide quality marketing material to gain tenancy by environmentally conscious businesses. This project is expected to be completed in phases. I believe that the minimum viable product for the first phase must attract retail and restaurant tenants that will bring Crozet residents on site to the project repeatedly during the early stages of construction. This will aid in creating excitement and anticipation for the future phases, therefore increasing the likelihood that career-level employers will choose to locate in Crozet. While my potential approaches to solving this wicked problem only focus on a small section of this problem, I believe that these are critical first steps to create an amicable working environment for all stakeholders and put this project on a path to success. The stakeholders in this problem each have significantly different goals and finished products in mind, and I believe it will be quite tricky to develop a project management plan that as effectively satisfies the requirements of each group.